Alright guys, Russ here. I'm going to do a review of the Tippmann FT-12. Normally I do custom and vintage reviews and shooting videos, stuff like that. You know, kind of interesting paintball stuff, but seeing as the field I tech at is getting these new FT-12s in, I figure it's good as time as any to show them off and review them. I'm just going to do a quick disassembly here and just review it as I go along. Now I've teched Tippmanns for about 6 years. I'm even certified with a repair certificate. So just keep in mind what I say does come from experience. So first things first, yes, they are easy as hell to disassemble. And yes, the internals are basically your run-of-the-mill Tippmann internals. Hammer, linkage arm, bolt. Those are all fairly typical Tippmann items. D10's the same. You get to that through the foregrip. The real exciting bit for me is that valve. Toolless removal. You don't need to use a wrench or anything. And I mean, there's one little O-ring in there that you need to change. There's no metal on metal like in the Platinum series. Under the grips here, you'll be able to see the air line. The only seals are 2 captured O-rings, urethane, one in the valve and one in the ASA, which means no threading and hopefully easy to fix leaks. Now you can see here, you just remove this thumb screw here, and that gives you access to the valve. You can just pull that out. And what's really exciting for me looking at this valve is that Tippmann's finally gone to a circlip design, the C-clip. And you can use that C-clip with proper pair of pliers to open that valve up. If you have a down-the-barrel leak and, you know, a 50-cent O-ring will fix your valve, or a cup seal will fix your valve instead of having to go and buy an entirely new valve. This trigger system, this looks like the weak point of the FT-12 to me. That plate right there, that's plastic. I'm not a huge fan of that. One of the issues I've found with the 98 Customs over the years, 6 years teching, we've had them for nearly 10 years at this field, and you know, the mushrooming of these holes, that causes extra sear wear. It causes wear on the hammers when things go out of alignment. But time will tell to see if you know, the plastic holds up. I wouldn't mind seeing that part done in steel in the future, but what are you going to do for now? We'll see how it goes. You know, everything's nice and solidly fit. Oh, yeah, by the way, don't put it together like that. Do the exact opposite of what I did and put the hammer in, then the spring in. Anyways, I'm a little bit worried about the plastic on that trigger group. I wish it was metal like the old BT4s that we had. Those things are steel, and I've literally never had to replace a sear in a BT4. Those things have been great. But, you know, our field owner wants to go to the FT-12s. He took a look at both of them, and he would rather go with these. Another issue I do have is the quality of the, well, I don't even know if it's aluminum anymore, but the quality of the cast metal that they're using to make these things. I have noticed that newer Tippmanns, the metal isn't quite as high quality as it used to be around 2003 earlier. A lot of snapping. When people, you know, fall on their guns, we get a lot of cracking on the clamshells. Now, these clamshells may be, well, they're not even clamshells anymore, but the new FT-12 may be a bit stronger since it's not a 2-piece clamshell design. Unfortunately, unlike the BT4 Slice, if you do crack this frame, the entire gun is done for, and you're going to have to buy an entirely new shell. And here I'm just going to show you how to take that detent out. It's pretty simple. Just pop the foregrip off, detent's right there. Nice and simple. And they were thoughtful enough to put a little ramp on that foregrip so when you slide it back on, it doesn't knock anything out of alignment. But yeah, I do kind of have an issue with that ASA. We've had a lot of stripping issues. 15-year-old kids come in and work the field, and they end up setting up the guns. They have to screw the tanks in, and they don't do a great job of it. And so now that we're going to these cast parts where, you know, it's not exactly the nicest finish, and the metal is probably going to be a bit softer, I'm going to be a little worried that, you know, we're going to see a lot more stripped ASAs. So hopefully those things are cheap. And, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing a milled version come out at some point, milled and anodized. But overall, you know, it's not a bad gun. Oh, the feed neck, I think that'll remain to be seen. The feed neck, we'll see how that turns out. I do think it looks a little dinky, but you know, I mean, that's not to say that the standard Tippmann 98 necks don't break once in a while. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. And, you know, as for shooting, shoots like a Tippmann. Nothing special there. I do notice that you get a bit of blowback gas out the back of the gun. So if you're not wearing goggles, that is gonna kind of hit you, and it's a little bit of annoying. But you know, people will be wearing goggles when they shoot these things anyway, so that's not a huge deal. Anyways, hope this was helpful, and I'm out.